The first new approach to fighting cholesterol in 3 decades could move closer to reality today. An FDA advisory panel is set to begin voting on recommending approval. Nearly 1 in 3 American adults lives with elevated LDL, or bad cholesterol, and less than half are being treated for the condition, which, as you may know, can cause heart disease. Our Dr. Tara Narula is a cardiologist at Lenox Hill Hospital here in New York City. Good to see you, Dr. Narula.
Good morning, Gail.
So how do the new drugs work? Start with that, please.
Right. So for 30 years, the battle in cardiovascular prevention has been really fought by one player, and that's been statins. And now we're really at an exciting time where we're poised to see a new class of drugs. This class is called the PCSK9 inhibitors. The 2 drugs up for potential approval are called Praluent and Repatha. These drugs are monoclonal antibodies, which we often use in cancer and rheumatology, not so often in cardiology. And what they do is they specifically target proteins. And so in this case, they target the PCSK9 protein in the blood. And by doing so, they essentially take it out of circulation so that our body can more effectively clear LDL, or bad cholesterol. So while statins can lower cholesterol 30 to 40%, these drugs can lower it about 60 to 70%.
So do you see it replacing statins?
That's a great question. And you know, really at this point, we see them coexisting and working synergistically. Statins are in many cases generic and affordable, relatively well tolerated, and tried and tested in terms of showing us reduced events of cardiovascular disease over time. This new class is specifically going to be targeted towards 3 groups right now. One is statin intolerant patients. One are patients who have familial conditions where they produce a lot of cholesterol, and that affects about 1 in 250 to 500 Americans. And the other class is patients who are at very high risk. They've had a heart attack or stroke, they're on high doses of statins, and we can't get their cholesterol low enough.
When are they available?
So the FDA is poised to potentially approve them in July and August, and according to the drug companies, at that point, they'd like to get them rolled out as soon as possible.
What about side effects?
So side effects are minimal. They tend to include injection site reactions, flu-like symptoms, or myalgias. And the more concerning one is there has been some signal of neurocognitive changes like memory impairment that we will need to see longer-term follow-up regarding.
So it's not a pill?
It's not a pill. It's an injectable medication that's given once every 2 weeks or once a month.
I thought it was a pill. I just assumed it was a pill.
Subcutaneous or under the skin injection.
And expensive? Cost?
They're expensive, very expensive. So statins, especially when they're generic, can be about $4 a month.
Yeah.
This drug can be anywhere from $500 to $1,000 a month. And we're not likely to see a generic version because this is a biologic drug. It's an antibody. It's not a chemical drug.
But a cognitive kind of side effect seems to be rather serious to me.
Well, we've sort of had that hint in the statin class as well. And so certainly we are going to need to have more data to really see if that bears true. And there are ongoing trials now that should wrap up in 2017 and 18 that will let us see whether these drugs actually also reduce heart attack and stroke and death.
All right, Doctor.
And the side effects.
We're lucky to have you.
Thank you.
Dr. Tara Narula, thank you so
Thanks a
much.
lot.